got here, I was the exact same. I heard the word of God and totally rejected it. And that, my first 5 months here were not the best, by any means. I was in corrections every day, trying to get my way through the program, doing the same thing, hoping my parents would pull me out. And as you can see, that's not the case. There was one man here that led me to the Lord on October 5th, 2013. When I came to Christ, I realized that I can do this. I began to actually trust and put in the effort to try, and God blessed me greatly. After a couple of months of passing evals and doing right with the Lord, I got leadership positions and soon moved to Isaac. And God restored my relationship with my mom and dad, as well as both of my brothers. There were some rough patches in Isaac as far as spiritually, but in the last 2 months, I really worked on getting a firm foundation in Christ and being consistent in my walk with Him for when I returned home, because I knew that without a firm relationship with Christ, I would get nowhere and would fall back in my old ways. And lastly, I would like to thank God for making this possible, because I know I wouldn't be here, graduating on time without Him. For my thank yous, first and foremost, Sergeant Henderson, wherever you are, being the best counselor I've had here and helping me through so much, as well as guiding me spiritually. Chaplain Rice, for all the great devotions and advice, and always pushing me to do my best. Mr. Reed, for all the excellent cooking and godly wisdom in the kitchen. He's always in everyone's graduation speech too. He's everyone's mother away from home. Sergeant Rice, for teaching me a lot as far as sound goes and being there whenever you needed someone to talk to. Mr. Corey, for teaching me great wisdom of the Bible and helping me with my work ethic every day, as well as being a great role model in my life. Sergeant Stewart, for never taking it easy on me and teaching me a work ethic I'll never forget. Ms. Dana, for being the best teacher/principal I've ever had and being the first one ever to give up on me in school. And Brother White, you guys can keep doing your prayers too. Been having some back issues lately, but for all the amazing devotions every Sunday morning and the knowledge of mechanics and welding in auto shop. And for all the brothers that helped me through my program, T. Smith, Stover, J. Hilton, Lee, Levy, Rodriguez, Philip Shadley, Brown, Lauer, Wells, Robles, Jenkins, J. Davis, Armand, Dowd, Tompkins, Lesko, Cowling, Daly, Howell, and Abraham. He's the best. I like how you wrote that on my speech. Thought I wouldn't say it. Last but not least, my family, my mom and dad, as well as my two brothers, Alex and Chris, and mainly God. If you'd like to do the honors.
Started off trying to put like I said, gallon in the pint. Like he said, first 5 months, parents, if you ever get discouraged, always think about it. I mean that in every aspect of the word. Like, I always think about it. This is like people I would use for example, as an example for years to come. Because, like he said, he done nothing for 5 months, but it was all in manipulation, hoping like, they'll just take me out, they get tired of wasting the money, and they'll just pull me out through frustration. But through a lot of prayers. And one thing about Teen Challenge Sword, like sometimes y'all ask like, why is my son not doing this? Like, this definitely got to be holy ground. And I mean that not as a joke, because through a lot of prayers and counseling and staff letting be an instrument for God. Because I know I can't do it on my own, so I definitely have to like remove my flesh and grab the spirit. But with that being said, like this is a guy that went from like making excuse after excuse, justification after justification, until like sometimes I look at him, I feel like I'm talking to another man. So I definitely seen him go from 0 and start punching into 6 real quick. Once he got it, he seen that like, man, when I submit to God, like everything else was a domino effect. I love myself, my parents, my family's getting restored. everything was good. So you guys that's struggling and you wondering like, why you struggling, submit it all and you'll be fine. Amen. Submit it all. And as you make God happy, everybody else will love you. You have faith with man. That's the Bible. That's biblical. That wasn't the innocent word. That was biblical. But with all that being said, we've come to the end of the road, and I kind of was trying to dodge. I dodged them all day yesterday. I don't know if you told y'all, but I dodged them yesterday. I was going to save it all for today. All right. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, this is Hebrews 12:1. Let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run without perseverance the race marked out for us. Having met all the requirements for completion of the drill academy in good standing, we hereby award on the 11th day of July 2014 this certificate of completion to Tristan Bruner. Always remember the armor, the coin of armor.
Welcome next to the stage, Mr. John Thomas Helton.
When I was 6, I was adopted by parents who wanted children, wanted people to love. And I grew up hating them, despising them, doing everything I could to make them angry, to show them that I didn't want to be there. I stole from them, I stole from other people, I lied to them, I lied about them. Me and my brother, though we'd gone through it all together, we hated each other. We didn't want anything to do with each other. We got in constant fights, arguments. I did a series of things that led me up to Teen Challenge. And I arrived here 29 months ago. And when I got here, I refused to do anything I was told for 14 months. Was constantly in corrections, inducted twice. I just did everything I could to show that I wasn't going to do it. And I heard the gospel so much being in a Christian home that it began to not faze me every time I heard it. And then one night I went to a chapel service. I think it was a surprise service. And I truly felt the Lord. I came to the altar. I was crying. First time I had since I've been here. And I just felt the Holy Spirit. And I felt conviction for the first time. And it broke me. Now I have love and appreciation for my family, parents who raised me or tried to raise me, and love for those around me and those who want to help me. My thank yous are for the drill instructor, Sergeant Rice, for being there to help me when I was angry and frustrated. Sergeant Morales, if you're in here, for also helping me with my anger. Sergeant Henderson, okay, there you are, for helping me get an understanding of what's going on around me, how much God loves me, and how much my potential shows and how much I need to use it. Sergeant LaFrance, you're in here. There you are. Your awesome correction. I want to thank Pastor Clay for creating a vision for the campus and those who are on it, including myself. Pastor Travis, who used to work here, who used to be a drill instructor, he showed great love and appreciation towards my life. Pastor Chuck, you always told me the truth whether I wanted to hear it or not. And Miss Gasson, Miss Doreen, and Miss Katie for all the cooking and the cookies after games and stuff. You guys are always there to lighten the mood. Students who went through it with me: Juwan Taylor, J.S. Devine, J.E. Davis, Smith, Stover, Bruni, Abraham, Dowd, Cowling, Rodriguez, and Robles. Thank you for going through it with me and helping me stick it through even when I wanted to quit. Most of all, I want to thank my brother for rebuilding the bridges that we burnt together, for correcting the hatred that we had towards each other. I want to thank my little sister for loving me no matter what I did. To her, my parents, she always wanted me to change. She always wanted me to be there for her. Most of all, I want to thank my mom and my dad for loving me even when I didn't love them back. I want to thank Miss Claudia for helping me change, giving me the sound wisdom, the godly advice, correcting me when I needed correction, thanking me when I did something right for once, and I didn't come up.
Good.
This is my first counseling.
29 months.
29 months. So people always told me that being stubborn is a bad thing, but it works out quite well when you work around here. There's one thing about him though that always stuck out. He was always, he's stubborn for what he wants to do, and when you channel it into something good, he's as stubborn. He never gave up, and he never gave up trying to make friends when people didn't like him, even though they found it most of the time annoying. But I'm so glad to get rid of him. No, no, that's not true. Okay. I didn't think I was ever going to do this, so. Gateway Military Academy, having met all the requirements for completion of the drill academy in good standing, we hereby award on this 11th day of July 2014 the certificate of completion to John Thomas Helton.
It's been a long time coming. Change don't come. That's just a song for me and Sawyer Henderson, I guess. Let's keep the party going. Welcome to the stage, Mr. Asa David Stoke.
I'd like to be able to walk up here and say, story-based sober and help. Turn my life around and fix my problems and went home. But that'd be a lie. See, this is a story about a God who loves us even when we turn away from Him. He pursues us despite our most serious offenses. When I took the Teen Challenge, it was delusional in my mind, painful in my heart, and I had drugs in my veins. Just totally honest. But God had a different plan for me than my plan for myself. I was comfortable with living in my sin. God wasn't. See, I distinctly remember a time walking through the streets of San Diego with my friend where it's like this dread hit me, this grief. And I knew in my heart that if I died in that moment, I'd go to hell. It was the most terrible feeling I've ever felt. And I remember turning to my friend and saying, we sold our souls, man. We lost it. We're doomed. How can we fix this? How can we get our salvation back? And it was that night that I prayed, despite all the delusions. And when I say delusion, I was delusional. Ask any of the guys here from my early program, I was gone. But despite that weird state of mind that I had, I prayed and I asked Jesus to reveal Himself in my life, to show me His glory and His plan for my future. And the next week I came to Teen Challenge. Now, I didn't know everything about this program. I thought it was maybe a 4 or 5 month program. Come here, show me the room, kind of chill, iPod, phone, computer. But I was really awakened when I grabbed the hand of an unknown DI at the door and was introduced to Teen Challenge culture. So, but that was when I began my walk with Christ. It's like, it's a difficult way to start something, but if that's what needs to be done, that's what needs to be done. That's what has to happen. So, the road behind me is desolate, it's dark, it's difficult. There are times where I lost myself. I didn't really know what I was doing. I still don't really know what I'm doing, to be honest. I have a good God. Even though the road is rocky ahead of me, Jesus knows the way. He'll guide you as well, especially you, Joshua. But I'd like to thank for cadets at Levy for being a strong spiritual influence and an awesome guy. Just being really chill and low-key in a dramatic world of Isaac. Marsh, he's not here, he's good old California. But being, kind of like I was saying, in the same presence in Isaac, just a relaxed guy who can kind of balance things out. Bit doubt, being compassionate in a place where people really make fun of each other a lot. Just being, a really good guy. Like someone you can always come to if you need to talk, and just being a solid dude. And in advance, I'd like to thank Taylor Garcia, you guys are, for being awesome Isaac leaders and leading Isaac Platoon into a place that they otherwise couldn't have got, speaking into existence. I'd like to thank Pearson Anthony, wherever you are, for being a cool guy and just, showing me that even though my flesh can get in the way of my opinions of other people, there are some great guys out there. If you take the time to talk to them and hang out with them, you'll see a different side that no one else sees. And lastly, I'd like to thank David Davis for being my best friend here, just hanging out with me all the time, gone through some tough times in the cold kitchen, just cooked some dirty dishes, but made it through. For staff, I'd like to thank Sean Henderson for always telling me the truth, Sergeant Rice for just being a real guy, always showing us the real him, even though the circumstances, usually staff have this wall between them. He tore that wall straight down. He's always himself, and that's something that we need around here. Chaplain Rice just for really helping me in the early days of my program when I wanted to please man, I wanted to manipulate my way into doing some stuff. I don't know what it was. He always kind of shot through that, starting with friends for being a godly individual and hosting morning worship every morning at like 4 o'clock. And my best memories are from just like chilling at these steps, listening to like the Mystic Edwards song, just praying. I didn't really understand God at the time, but that really helped all of us more than you can imagine. Storm Morales, being a super cool dude, and his family just being like light wherever you guys go. I don't know what it is, but your kids just like you can see the presence of God on their lives already. They're like, I don't even know their ages, but they're young. It's pretty cool. Thank you. Thank you for just being around and being a godly father. I'd like to thank Miss Vicky for being super cool, taking all these pictures. It's hard work. Coach Tomley for being another one of those guys who I didn't really like at first, but in fact he's a godly man. Someone who can teach us more than enough. And he's actually the guy who got me working out too, so plus. And Miss Katie, I'd like to thank Miss Katie for just being super happy all the time for no reason. Always around. Miss Dana for being not only a great principal and a great teacher and a cool friend and just an awesome worship leader, but just for being there all the time, counseling, whenever we had to talk, and just always being a straight shooter and let us know what we need to know, but in a different way. It's usually, when we get known what we don't want to know, it's like very violent, a lot of yelling involved. Miss Dana's not like that. She's just very, very subtle, and it's really awesome to have her around. She's a cool person. And finally, Mr. Logan Gilchrist, just being a really good friend this last month or so. He's a cool guy, a great teacher. And this is like a special area here. I thank Brother White, being a spiritual father. He's teaching me all sorts of stuff. You're coming? Just for being a spiritual father and a great guy, and just through the auto shop devotions and devotions every Sunday morning. I mean, this guy is a model of how I want to be. He's the most godly man that I've met in a long time. And I would be very honored if I could be half the man he is when I'm older. I'd like to thank Miss Serene for cooking with me this last month. I don't know where you are, somewhere. And just always helping me out, always being willing to counsel with me, and just teaching me a lot of stuff, always calming me down those last few days, upset. And finally, little piece of church. For really showing me the truth of God when I didn't understand it at all. I had like some weird foreign view of God, and you shot straight through that. And you're the person who breached that wall I had first. You're the guy who like opened the floodgate. Now all these other people could come influence me, but you were the first guy to do it. Like, I think my family is like, now a lot of people have like rough families, rough family history. My family's so nice. Like, my family's so nice. It's not even. My sister's a missionary. My other sister's a missionary. My mom's just like the most compassionate person I know. My dad's super cool. It's like, my family's awesome. Thank you for putting up with all this stuff. And that's about it.
You did that real well, but about 15 months ago, for the first 2 months, I had no idea what he was talking about. And I would leave our counseling meetings and go tell Miss Claudia, I don't know what that kid, what's wrong with him. Like, I don't even know that he knows what he's saying. Just like you sit down and he says a bunch of stuff, and I get up and I feel dumber than I did when I said it. And then the moment of clarity came. And the change in your life, and you begin to change for you and your parents and your relationship with them. I think the greatest bit of advice for you is you'll find yourself turning to the next level when you start seriously building your life. Not that I say that like he just wrecks everybody, but Asa is very black and white, very factual, and things are very literal. When you begin to take all that knowledge and that information and use it to build people up, and they begin to feel empowered by your love and your compassion, is when you'll see the next phase of your life take form. But I am very proud of him. I'm proud of his family. We're putting in the work that's necessary because this is just the beginning. We reached the 15-month mark, and now the whole show starts. So I pray for you guys. But I want to present this to you on behalf of Gateway Military Academy. Asa, having met all the requirements for completion of the Drill Academy in good standing, we hereby award on this 11th day of July 2014 this certificate of completion to Asa David Stover. I didn't know it until I called him out, but we actually have the same middle name. And the next guy, too. Wow. That is awesome. Last but not least, welcome to the stage, Mr. Trevor David Smith.
My grandma told me to have it exactly this long. The more I share my testimony, the less it comes from my past. But it's important to remember where we came from before we encountered Christ. We've been falling back into the old man. My testimony starts in Atlanta, Georgia on May 29, 1998. Growing up, I was respectful and polite, and I obeyed my parents. After moving to Tampa, Florida around my 8th birthday, I started seeking attention from other people, and I became known for my rebellion. At 10, I became friends with the wrong person. We stole, drank, partied, and smoked weed for the first time together. Money was low, so we moved with my grandparents across town. I felt alone and hated by everyone around me. I was rejected for being poor in a rich neighborhood and couldn't trust anyone. Through the separation, I became closer to my older brother, Zach. A really serious moment. We shared more in common than we knew. We rebelled against our parents, drank alcohol, and did a number of drugs together. My desire to be popular rose again, and I started getting in trouble in school. Halfway through 8th grade, I was kicked out of school and practically dropped out. I was only 13 years old. I began hanging out with older kids and adults who weren't in school anymore, which gave me easy access to drugs and alcohol. My addiction to weed dropped to drinking codeine, popping painkillers, taking hallucinogens, smoking spice, puffing gas, and trying many other drugs. I was addicted. I did everything I could to get high, whether stealing money from my family or breaking into cars and houses. I'd overdosed in my own house and was lucky to be alive. Even my close friends saw the path I was taking was leading me down. I couldn't hide it from my parents any longer, and they tried their hardest to lead me into a better path. One night after getting high and robbing people with my friend, on my way home a cop pulled a gun on me and sent me to the detention center. My mom and dad were horrified and went looking for help. 2 weeks later, on April 7th, 2013, they told me I was going on a business trip. April 8th, 2013, I arrived at Teen Challenge to handle unfinished business. I didn't believe in God at all. I was an agnostic and I mocked Christians for their faith. I saw them as hypocritical and judged them. But then I saw other people's examples of how God changed their lives and set them free, and I wanted that same freedom in my own life. On my second night, I cried out to God for the first time in my life and asked Him to forgive me and make me a new man. And that was the day I gave my life to Christ. My relationship with my parents and the rest of my family are now being restored, and I'm closer to them than ever before. I was 2 years behind in school, and now I'm completely caught up, and I'll be attending Christian high school soon after I leave. I've grown close to a lot of staff and students during my time. They've counseled me and helped build me up to stand strong through these hard times. God's given me a vision to become involved in street ministry across America, and I hope to affect the lives of many others as this ministry has affected me. I'm returning to Tampa, and I will need prayer as I step into this next journey in my life. For people I want to thank Sergeant Morales, Pastor Chuck, Sergeant Stewart, Mr. Corey, Sergeant Reneo for always kicking me off detail. Every day. For no reason. Hey, can I send T. Smith back to Barracks? Every day. Mr. Green, Coach Tomlin, Sergeant LaFrance, Sergeant Cannon, Sergeant Daniels, Mr. Lewis, Miss Katie, Mr. and Miss Gaston, and Miss Marshall. For students, I want to thank Lauer, Tompkins, Jenkins, Robles, Anthony, J. Davis, Kirshner, Marsh, King, Nixrat, Elrod, Oker, Hughes because he told me to, Bill Finn, Harmon, Rodriguez, Rodriguez, Jay Hilton, Stover, and Bruni. For special thank yous, I want to thank Pastor Randy. I was going through a hard time in my life, and I felt like I was denying my faith, and I started giving up on God, and I started running away from God and Teen Challenge. I was hiding in the gym under the bleachers. But it was crazy because there wasn't supposed to be a chapel service, but there was a chapel service that night, and I was under the bleachers, and so I could hear him from the chapel, and he started talking about hell, and he started talking about that verse in Matthew that says, "Depart from me, I never knew you." And I knew if I was going to die right now, that's what God would say to me. And it hit me like I've never in my life before. And I rededicated my life to Christ because, and he actually passed away a couple months ago, and had a heart attack, which is really sad. But I did get to see him out there in Poland, and got to meet him because I never got to meet him. He was on the bleachers, so I got to meet him, and I said thank you. And it's real sad that he died, but I know where he's at, and I know he impacted a lot of people's lives. I want to thank Pastor Clay. I didn't get off on the right track with you. You came in, and I ran away pretty much like 2 months after you came, so that wasn't too good. But he like over these last few months, you really shown me work ethic, and you've opened up to me, and I know you're a real man, and that your heart is for every kid in here. that you love me. And that I thank you for that. And I thank you for changing this program and giving other people a chance. I want to thank Sergeant Henderson for always keeping it 1,000. And he always told me the truth even when I didn't want to hear it. He always had the time to talk to me, and he saw me in my lowest points, and I want to thank you for that. And I want to thank Sergeant Rice. I've talked to him a lot, and he really, he's a good man, a real good man. His heart is just, I've never seen someone with so much passion for God. You love God more than anyone I've ever seen in my life. It's amazing. I hear you preach, I hear you talk to us, and you open up with us, and it's like a waterfall flowing out your heart. And I love it. Thank you for that. Lastly, I want to thank Mr. Billy Rice. Come up to the stage, I want to tell you in person.
Yeah.
I want you to know, man, you're a best friend, your brother, and your father to me, man. You see me in my lowest points. You've always been there to counsel me and talk to me. You're the biggest inspiration and role model in my life. You've never winked at sin. You've never compromised anything, but you were always there for me, man. You've helped restore the relationship with my family. And you see me in the valley, and you see me on the mountaintop, man. Right now, I feel like I'm on Mount Everest, man. I love you, man. You're going to be a lifelong friend, man. I hope to see you very soon and keep in contact with you. Lastly, I forgot, I'm so sorry. I want to thank my parents. Yeah, I'm sorry. There's never mind. I want to thank you guys, my whole family, everyone that showed up. I love you guys so much. But my parents, I want to thank you most. I want to thank you guys the most. You put up with so much of my crap. I can't believe how much forgiveness you showed me, how much trust you showed me. And it's amazing. I don't deserve that at all. I don't deserve the love I got from my dad. I hated him before I came here. It's my best friend now. And I know he loves me with all his heart. And I've seen you grow so much, man, spiritually. And I always wanted a relationship with you, but the walls of my heart blocked me from opening up to you. I told you that I hated you right in my face. I told you I didn't want to be with you, and I hated you, and I didn't consider you my dad. You're the bravest man I know. Come on.
I seen when Smith came in, he came in on the 7th of April, 2 days after my birthday. And not too long, I think a month or so after, a couple months after that, maybe 3 or 4, we went to his Sperry. And I seen, and it wasn't too long before that we went to Sperry that he was, him giving his life to Christ was taking place, he was rolling fire for God. And here we were at this spiritual concert, and the worship was going, the spirit was moving, and he was sitting down with a face do that face. Like that. And I was like, what's going on with this guy? And so I went and tapped him on the shoulder, and I said, hey man, this is time for you to be with God, and for you to worship and spend that time, and for you to be close with God so you can feel him, so you can bask in his presence. And he's like, I know. And I said, okay, I don't want to go much further than that. So a little while later, he's still sitting there with that face. So I said, we didn't plan this either. I know it looks like that. We're doing pretty good up here. But no, I wanted to share this because after that, I pulled him outside and he began expressing me with tears in his eyes. He felt that something was separating him from his worship, and it was somebody had told him because the song was playing, the instrumental, and God put lyrics on his heart. And if you don't know, Trevor, he's